Are you thinking about buying a home here in Delaware? So you've been doing your research and now you're wondering, what are the best places to live in Delaware? Well, don't worry, your friendly neighborhood realtor, Brandon's got you covered. In this video, I'm gonna go over my top 10 places to live here in Delaware. So definitely stick around until the end, and I can promise you after watching, you're gonna know, or at least have a better idea of where exactly to start your search for that perfect home for you here in Delaware. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Brandon Windom. I'm a local Delaware realtor and I help people buy and sell homes here in Delaware. I've lived here my entire life, and on this channel, I talk about what it's like living here in Delaware. Everything from new construction tours to city tours, everything, information, pros and cons, everything that you need to know about Delaware. I'm gonna be your one-stop shop. So if you're thinking about potentially buying or selling a home here in Delaware, I love to have a conversation to see how I can potentially help you. So I'll put my info on screen now and again in the description below. But with that being said, let's get right into it. So one of the questions I get asked most often for people looking to move here to Delaware are, what are the best places to live? So I decided to put a list together. I've done a video like this before, and I usually try to do it at least once a year to update some of the areas, because Delaware is ever changing. So I just like to give you guys update information. So with that being said, let's start out with our first city here and our first place here, and that's going to be Claymont, Delaware. Now, Claymont is located pretty much at the top of Delaware, right around that little like fish hook. It's a very quiet town. It's only about 9,500 residents, and like I said, again, it's pretty quiet, more of a dense suburban type feel. Now, this place is very good for anybody who's looking to commute, or maybe just be closer to maybe that Pennsylvania or New York, New Jersey area, because it is so close. I mean, honestly, through Claymont runs Philadelphia Pike, and literally if you follow that down, I mean, you're about 15 to 20 minutes away from Philly and the Philly airport. So it's really good for anyone who maybe wants to commute, maybe if you still work in Philly, or maybe if you have a remote job and you got to go into the office once or twice a week. You know, with how everything's changing, it's definitely great for the commuting aspect. As far as that, I mean, it's right on kind of like the outskirts of Wilmington, so it's about 10 to 15 minutes to the heart of Wilmington. So again, for commuting again as well, that's great, because you can just go to the Amtrak station there, and you could take that Acela route and get to, you know, pretty much New York, DC, New Jersey. I think that thing even goes to Boston every single day. But even not for the commuting aspect, just being right there in the heart of Wilmington, you know, where all the shops and everything else are, because like I said, Wilmington is pretty much our biggest city by population. So you kind of get all the plus of being in the city of Wilmington, but you're still kind of like in the outskirts, and you also get that bonus added factor of the commute as well. Now, the next great place to live here in Delaware is going to be Wilmington. Now, Wilmington is our biggest city in Delaware as far as population goes, but needless to say, there's a bunch of little suburbs all throughout Wilmington, so it's kind of hard when I classify Wilmington. There's a bunch of little like outskirts and different places in Wilmington and different areas in Wilmington in general. And I feel like I just need to clarify this, because I've seen in other videos or comments, and people ask me, when you just do, you know, a quick search of Wilmington, they say, Brandon, how can this be one of the best places to live when, you know, you have this crime and XYZ? And it kind of doesn't get a fair shake when you go that route, because like I said, I mean, if you drive through Wilmington, you know, you are on MLK Boulevard or something like that, you can tell. I mean, like riding by, you know, you probably don't want to be there too late or be doing things you ain't trying to be doing in certain parts. I mean, you'll know. But that's a very small percentage of Wilmington. And again, like I said, I mean, it's a very small aspect of Wilmington. You obviously, when you go into any inner city, you know, you have those inner city problems. But I do want to highlight some of the suburbs that are, you know, or in the outskirts kind of Wilmington as well. So one great place, this is kind of a suburb, so I guess it's like a subsection of Wilmington, is Pike Creek. So that's going to be right there in kind of the northwestern part of Delaware, and it's a very suburban type area, but it has a lot of commercial space. So it's great for retail shopping and just having a lot to do in that area. It's very, built up, somewhat walkable, but you kind of get that, city-esque feel without being in a city, while still being in kind of a suburb, if that makes any sense. Because it also has open spaces, like a bunch of open spaces. One of the main ones being White Clay Creek State Park, which is one of our state parks here in Delaware, and it has all the open space for nature and hiking and biking and everything you will find in one of our state parks here. And also, again, one of the main factors you'll see me talk about in this video, or just in Delaware in general, anyone who we talk to, it's really our location that people really love, our kind of locality and being central to all these other major states like New York, New Jersey, and PA. And this part is no different. Pike Creek is no different. I guess it would be more so of the southeastern part of Pennsylvania, right in there. So again, a lot of people like to do the commute, or if they have family members that are close, so they can be very close to them. So that's another reason why, Pike Creek is really good. And then another suburb I can highlight as well is Hockessin. So that's a little bit more, I guess, north when you're looking on the map. But again, I mean, that's like the hoity-toity part of that's really upscale. Things really don't come for sale a lot, so you better come correct. Your pockets better be right. It's super expensive. It's more of an old money sort of upscale type of town. But I see why it's so desirable. It has a lot of cool places like the Winter Herb Museum. It has the Delaware Museum of Science, and again, it's really close to PA. I mean, right there by like Kennett Square and Longwood Gardens. So it is a very desirable location, especially if you're someone who has, 1 foot in PA, 1 foot in Delaware. So you want, or you work in PA or something like that, or you have family there, but you want to, reap the benefits of our low property taxes and, overall lower price point here in Delaware. Next place is Newark, and Newark is pretty much a big college town. But one thing that Newark does very well is that it's kind of big enough to where as though we can blend that college town vibe as well as that small town suburbia, and it's kind of that perfect blend, because you do have that very, college town feel when you're over in Newark by the University of Delaware, out on Main Street, where you have the bars, the restaurants, and it can get a little hectic with, everybody just walking around everywhere and all that foot traffic. And you get that great walkability, which isn't something that you find a lot here in Delaware. There are places, but this is probably one of the best examples of it in Delaware. But you also have that convenient kind of small town suburbia feel when you're talking about, I guess, again, these would be suburbs like Brookside and Christiana, which are going to have that, that day-to-day feel, but it's not going to be as hectic as you would see during the school year, right by, like, off of Main Street and by the UD College. And I think that's great because Newark has a little bit of something for everyone. If you're someone who's into the social scene and you want to, bar hop or just be around, a little bit more social, there's a lot of places there in Newark for it, just because of the college and just the way Newark just in general is kind of set up. But you also have, if you're someone who's ready to retire and you just want open spaces, or you just want some, an easier way of life and maybe to not downgrade, but to, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess downsize a bit. You have that as well in Newark. There's a couple 55 plus communities there. You have a ton of parks and rec and just, golf, everything else. It has a little bit of everything there for you in Newark. Also, right there in Christiana, you have the Christiana Hospital, which is our only level 1 trauma center in Delaware, and all of the satellite clinics that Christiana Care offers. So if you're someone who maybe is retiring or, getting older in age and healthcare is a priority for you, that's a plus as well. Or if you're someone who has a family or is planning to have a family, there's a bunch of stuff, a bunch of activities in Newark for that as well. Again, like I mentioned, you have the open spaces, but there is a ton of, I guess, kid-friendly stuff. You have urban air. There's a bunch of, trampoline parks, indoor soft play places, and You see a lot of that as well because, you know, it is more of a kind of a mixed use town or city. Again, like I said, it has a little bit of something for everyone. Next is Townsend. Now, I would put Middletown here, but let's be honest, you already know about Middletown. Everybody knows about Middletown. So yes, it's on everyone's list. I put it, you know, like I said, I've done this video before. It's on my old list. We can even say it's on this list. But I just wanted to give you guys something a little, you know, something a little different to think about here. So Townsend is a great alternative to Middletown, and honestly, I still feel like it's a little bit slept on. So pretty much any local from Delaware kind of classifies that whole area there. We call it the MOT. So that's going to be Middletown, Odessa, and Townsend. So I just think of that as one big area, but people usually ask me about Middletown. But they probably need to start asking about Townsend. So Townsend is just a little bit further south, about 15 to 20 minutes from the heart of Middletown, but it is in the Appoquinimink School District, which is one of the biggest determining factors for when I see people moving to Middletown. So you do get that great school district in Appoquinimink, but you are a little bit further out, which is kind of be a good thing because that Middletown area is growing so much. The infrastructure is a little bit strained, so it can get a little bit hectic during certain parts of the day as far as traffic. So, I mean, just for your day-to-day, Townsend's gonna have all that. You know, it's got a grocery store, it's got a drugstore, it's got a, you know, a fire department. The schools are right there in Townsend, so it's gonna have everything you need for that day-to-day, but you're gonna be a little bit out the way so that you're not gonna have to experience all those traffic jams and stuff. Or if you wanna just hop on to routes 1 or 13, if you wanna go south or north, you're gonna be able to get to those main roads without having to go through that local traffic, which is definitely a plus as well. So because you are a little bit further out, that is a bit of a plus. Plus, you're going to get, I feel like the prices are just a hair bit cheaper than actual being in the city of Middletown as far as just the home prices. And then as far as that, you're going to save a little bit on the property taxes as well, since you are outside of, you know, the city limits of Middletown. And with that being said, there's a bunch of opportunities for new construction, same as Middletown, in Townsend, but you're going to get a little bit cheaper price and you're going to save on your property taxes. So that's definitely something you want to be looking at, and that's why I put it on this list. I think it's a good alternative and a good place to check out if you're looking for, you know, that MOT area. So next on the list is Smyrna. Now we're getting into Kent County, Delaware. Smyrna has a great location, especially I see it being a great alternative to Middletown. I actually make a joke all the time, and please, my friends from Smyrna, don't get offended, but I call it poor man's Middletown. The prices are just a little bit better out there. I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to keep calling it that for too long because these prices are rising a lot because Smyrna is growing in popularity quite a bit. Again, Smyrna is a lot similar to Middletown. It does have a very good school district. At least it does have a ranked school district, at least according to niche.com. Great sports program. I mean, every time I look up, they done won, you know, something, whether it's football or wrestling or something. Smyrna's always there, always in the running every year. But the area is experiencing a lot of good growth, both commercial and residential. And when I say residential, I mean both a lot of new construction because there is a little bit of more land out there, as well as resales. And I don't see that growth slowing down. I mean, just here on the channel, just looking at, you know, my back end analytics, just seeing there's been a huge uptick for people, you know, like yourself, looking at the best places to live in. Smyrna is definitely getting up there. If you are interested in Smyrna, I've done a bunch of videos on it, toured some of the communities as well, so you can look at that. But I mean, just getting to the overall feel of Smyrna, it's very more so suburban, rural, a very you know, close-knit communities there. Kind of seems like everyone knows everyone. So if that's something you're into, it's definitely a great city for that. So the next place I have is Felton. So if you know me, or if you've reached out to me or talked to me, you know I definitely had to put Felton on this list. Felton's a very small town, less than probably 1,500 people. It has more of a rural type feel with a lot of like countryside and just open land with a lot of outdoor activities. Honestly, one of my favorite places to go in Felton is Killing Pond State Park. Again, I know I say this a lot, but it does have a little bit of something for everyone. I mean, I have 3 children. It has a little mini water park there with a pool, and I take them there, you know, me and my wife take them there at least, I don't know, maybe 5-10 times in the summer, maybe even more. We love going there. It's nice. You got the little spot for the little ones, like the little kiddie side with the slides and everything, and then you got the bigger side with the big slides. Very affordable, great place. But if you're someone who likes the outdoors, they do have camping, and they do have a scenic route. They have pavilions out there where you can hold like little barbecues and get together. So I mean, it's great. If you just want to get outdoors and you're someone who loves outdoors, it's a great place for that. While it's still, you know, overly kind of rural, it's definitely growing a lot. I mean, I personally live in Felton, and in the years I've been here, I've seen that residential development kind of boom while I've been here. And again, shameless plug. Well, I mean, you're on my channel. I can't be shameless plugging. I highlight a bunch of these communities in Felton because there's a lot of opportunities to get in while they're still new. And I got a bunch of them on the channel. Feel free to check them out. And I mean, honestly, I mean, while I'm recording this video, at the time I'm recording this video, I think I'm helping 5 families build new construction here in Felton. And I mean, I see why. It's got a great location. I mean, you're only minutes from Route 1 and 13, and you're maybe only 10 or 15 minutes from Camden, Magnolia, and Dover. So that's going to have pretty much everything you can need in your day-to-day, you know, obviously Dover being the capital of Delaware. And so you're close to everything you need, but you're out there to where though you can still relax and, you know, you don't have to deal with the little bit of hustle and bustle that you do have in Dover. And I feel like your dollar still goes a little bit further, you know, in Felton than it would in maybe perhaps Magnolia. And the taxes are a little bit cheaper as well when you're comparing it to, you know, the city of Dover as well. So definitely a bunch of pluses. So definitely put Felton on your list. Now, guys, I just want to apologize because I lied to y'all. I mean, it's going to be more than 10 places. I mean, I just can't help it. I get to talk about Delaware real estate and I get all excited and my brain is just like, Brandon, don't forget to tell them about this place because this place is great too. And I just want to, you know, tell you all the information I can. But I hope you guys can forgive me because this video is probably going to run a little bit long. It's going to be a little bit more than 10 places. You know, I start counting on my hands and I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. And I look up, it's more than 10. But with that being said, we can head on down to Sussex County. So next on the list is going to be Milford. Now, Milford is in both Kent and Sussex County. Overall, the feel of Milford is rural suburban. Well, I mean, I guess if you look at I don't know, how do you say that word? Topography? How you guys say it? It's mostly rural suburban, but honestly, it doesn't feel that way. It has a little quaint, like downtown center with a river walk. And in that downtown, you're gonna find a lot of local businesses and you know, little restaurants and just you know, great places to eat. You know me, you know I love my food, but yeah, you're gonna just find a lot of cool little places down in that downtown area in Milford. But also in the other parts of Milford, you're gonna see a lot of commercial growth as well. I mean, you have the brand new, the newer Milford Memorial Bay Health that they built there that's, you know, less than, I don't know, 10 years old or something like that. Then you have, you know, the new movie theater that they built, Milford Movies 9. They have the new Milford Corporate Center where, you know, they're building all of that and they're gonna have a bunch of businesses, job opportunities, and things like that. And I mean, with all that being said, I mean, it makes sense why Milford is one of the fastest growing, you know, cities here in Delaware. Honestly, my only complaint about Milford is that it is building so much commercial stuff. There isn't a lot of opportunities for, you know, residential. I mean, maybe like renting, but as far as like buying, you don't see a lot of new construction communities there. And they have the land to do it. I think that's going to change in the upcoming years, but as of right now, I mean, I feel like the inventory is kind of scarce there. Like every time I see something that pops up that's really nice, it's usually gone just like that. Now, next is the beaches. Obviously, I can't do a best places to live in Delaware without mentioning the beaches. I mean, it's one of the things that people probably know the most about Delaware when speaking about Delaware. And out of the beaches, the most notable ones that we have here are going to be Rehoboth, Bethany, and Dewey. they constantly rank and get awarded for, you know, their cleanliness and just the overall, I guess, greatness of it. But I mean, the beaches have the beach appeal. I mean, it's pretty straightforward here. It's what you would expect from a beach town. I mean, we have a bunch of retail shopping and the Tanager outlets, and obviously those are tax-free, so that's another plus. Plenty of restaurants, you know, seafood, Mexican, breweries, anything you can think of, they're gonna have, you know, we have a multitude of it in the beaches. And then obviously you have the boardwalk, you know, you got your boardwalks in Rehoboth and Bethany. Dewey is more so of like a party beach. They kind of don't really have a boardwalk, at least I don't consider it a boardwalk. But I mean, obviously it's all just straightforward. If you're looking for that beach life and you wanna wake up and you wanna be waterfront, I mean, you just better have the pockets for it. It does get pretty expensive, but I mean, it's to be expected when you're talking about the beaches. But if it's something that you really, you know, a place where you really want to be on the water or around that water, and you got the pockets for it, it's definitely great, especially in the off season when there isn't as much traffic. Don't get me started on traffic. If you've seen any of his videos, you know exactly how I feel. Now, obviously, there's plenty of great places to live in Delaware. Obviously, I didn't get to all of them in this video, but if you're interested in learning more about Delaware, maybe want to see the communities, or maybe look deeper into some of those places I mentioned, I'll put videos for you right here.